Guys, what's up? This is your boy Kamen Zero Spike back again once again. And today we're here for Ohsama Sentai King-Ohger episode 13, and we got some disrespect. Got some disrespect going on up in here. They disrespecting the spider. It's Yama's fault, but they did. He started it, but they disrespecting this man out here. And in this episode, I did like how we start talking about more history that has happened. Some more history that has happened in the 1,000 years, and more history that has happened before the 1,000 years and the 1,000-year Blood War arc. This ain't Bleach, but start talking about more history that has happened before the 1,000 years, and saying that there was another king. There was a sixth kingdom, and possibly this kingdom was like up in there was like a sky. This kingdom was like up in the sky. We also find out that every kingdom, every kingdom's origins, essentially is Shu Gundam. I mean, Shu Gundam is the original, kingdom before others branched out and created the other four kingdoms, and basically solidifying that Shu Gundam is it. Like Shu Gundam is basically where it all started to a degree, at least for now, because we don't know. Like we possibly don't know where the other kingdom, the sixth kingdom, is. Most likely it's in the sky, considering the fact of how this episode ended. But we did get a lot. We got some backstory on Yanma, seeing how Yama rose himself from the ranks, and it is kind of weird that this guy has royal blood in him, but was raised and lived like a street rat. And we did see Gen, the guy who basically raised him, and basically the man who taught him hard work and integrity and things like that. And we see the process of Gen growing up and basically saving all of Kistopia, basically rebuilding Kistopia from the ground up, basically saying that, hey, you got to be like grass, and grass, you got to be like grass, because grass can be trampled on, but eventually grass always rises back up. So that's basically the philosophy that Yama lives by, essentially. So he believes in building everything from the ground up and creating something greater. So that was actually pretty nice to see the little backstory on Gen. We did more backstory on Yanma, considering the fact that Jeremy knows Gen. Jeremy knew Gen, and he's also the one that taught Gen. So we see that Jeremy really is that old. He even goes as far as calling everybody else around him like children. But we did see Death Nook. He was feeding on some of that earth, and we see that Jeremy does talk to him, but Jeremy ends up giving them we see that the bodies of the three greater guardian spirits are like resting, or basically like resting under him. And I guess he was either feeding off of them or feeding off of Terra itself. Most likely Terra itself, because I don't think they don't have their souls, so I don't think he really has anything to feed off of them from. And I think they would have overall just straight up showed that. But we did see that Jeremy does give them the soul of God Hopper. Basically give them the souls of God Hopper. And we see that Himeno still has the soul of Scorpio. And we see that Jeremy still has the soul of Black Kiwata, the big the big Hercules black beetle. So he ends up talking with Yanma, and Yanma asks him, like, where did you get your stuff from? Like, where did you get your royal arms from? And he basically says that the Venomax shooter was given to him basically from his mother. It's basically a memento from his mother, and the sword will also be from his father, since his father was human, mother was a Bugnarok, and it has a bunch of sentimental value and stuff like that to him. And that's when Yama does show him, like, tell him his backstory and all the other things that are about Kistopia. So Jeremy does give him the Venomix shooter, and we see that Yama just wants to use it to embarrass Raculus. After Raculus did hit him up and say, "Hey, I need you to bring me Jeremy," bring him Jeremy so he could talk to him. And we see that, the only reason he knew because Kiragi, he basically says Kiragi snitched. So we ended up going back to Himeno. We see that Gira is with Himeno, hiding out there, and he's able to talk to the. She's asking him, "Are you able to speak to Scorpy?" He's talking to Scorpy's soul, and basically talking to his soul, and he's like they're trying to they're trying to get out, or trying to get back to, all three of them are basically trying to get back to each other. And we see that Gira tries to leave, but she ends up disguising. He's like, "Oh wait, you can't go to find out you're alive," because the whole thing of Gira being dead thing. And she ended up disguising him as Sebastian. But I'm like, why did you disguise him as Sebastian? Because Sebastian's whole thing is that he's in a disguise. He's actually only 25, so why did they just make him look like actual, Sebastian? I don't know. But like, Sebastian is played by an old man, so at the same time, I feel like you should have just dressed him up as like younger Sebastian. So we see that Jeremy does go and talks to Raculus, and Raculus is telling him, like, I want to know all the history. I want to know everything you know about the history. And then Jeremy's like, you already know everything. I already wrote everything down, and it's also on the freaking ceiling. So Jeremy asks him, do you know about what happened? Do you know about the history before the Fury of the Gods? And that kind of struck a nerve with Raculus, making Raculus does know more or other things about that. But yeah, also we have the Bugnarok that was, the Bugnarok, basically he can make illusions and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, he's there. He's gonna play he plays some small little role. Well, not really small, but most likely gonna see this guy again. But he plays a role in this episode as well. He disguises himself as Yanma's subordinate, Shinotara. Yeah, Shirotara. He disguises himself as him, and they end up bringing in that cushion pillow chair thing that they have in Tofu, which is Karagi's kingdom. And he brings that to Raculus, and he basically took the Venomax shooter and put it in there, and basically made it into like a giant whoopee cushion because he wants to embarrass Raculus. And it's freaking stupid. And they ended up bringing in Raculus, like, what do you think I need this for? And there we see that the Bugnarok, pretending to be Shinotara, they ended up dropping it. It falls on Shinotara's foot. Shinotara gets ready to fall on it, but that's when Yama jumps in and drop kicks him out of the way, and then Yama is the one that ends up falling on it. And he falls on it, whoopee cushion sounds, basically big fart sound, explosions and confetti and flags come out. I'm like, how did you do this? How did you make all this come out of this freaking whoopee cushion, yo? So after that, we see that everybody laughs at Yama and stuff like that. He embarrassed him. But then that's when Shinotara disguise comes out, and he turns back into his Bugnarok self. We see that Yama gets pissed off, and he's like, he tries to blame it on the Bugnarok, saying, "Oh, this is obviously a Bugnarok plot." And then that's when the Bugnarok runs out. He runs away. He runs away. We see that this Bugnarok is actually kind of like a nice guy. He's kind of a nice guy, and his voice, the way he speaks, is like, man, I kind of don't want y'all to kill this guy. I kind of don't want him to die. He's kind of a cool dude. I don't know. But luckily he doesn't die in this episode. But it's kind of like this guy. So Yama's chasing him down, chasing him down through the castle, attacking him, shooting him, things like that. We see that the Bugnarok also started attacking Shu Gundam, and the rest of our 4 Rangers are down there fighting off the rest of the Bugnarok on the ground. We see that that's when Yama kicks the Bugnarok down there, and the monster, the weak Bugnarok, kicks him down there, and he starts fighting him and all this stuff. And we see that Jeremy is pissed off that his Venomax shooter was used in such a weird way. He feels very much disrespected, and he goes off to say, you guys, He said, no matter how many times I tell you guys not to stop fighting each other, how many times I tell you guys stop fighting each other, and nothing really ever changes. And nobody really understands what he's saying, but he's basically saying that this weapon was meant to show that we are all equals. He's trying to basically get everybody to come to like an actual agreement with each other and stop fighting each other. And that's when Jeremy goes off and fight and actually beats up all the rest of the other Rangers and ends up taking their swords. When he takes their swords, he ends up calling his shoe god, which is God Tarantula, this big black and white tarantula that comes out of the sky. And he comes up and he ends up taking all their swords. He ends up destroying our monster of the week, Bugnarok, and destroys a bunch of the other grunt Bugnarok, while also stealing away the three greater guardian spirit souls back from the people he gave them to. He ends up stealing them back, and he ends up summoning all three of them. After he destroys the Bugnarok and does everything, we see that God Tarantula shoots a weapon to the sky, and all three of the greater guardian spirits climb it, and they climb up into the sky all the way like really, really high up to the sky. And that's when Jeremy gets on and he leaves. We see that Himeno is Himeno is pissed off because she's like, we got to go after them and stuff like that. But Gira tells her that, hey, they said they want to follow him, but she thinks they're all just being controlled. But they're obviously not, since Jeremy is that guy. So it goes all the way up into the sky, and we see that he's essentially built his kingdom in the sky. And turns out he has everybody's swords around his back that he's connected with his webbing. And turns out the monster of the week, Bugnarok, is also still he's alive. He's there on God Scorpion with Jeremy. And Jeremy says that I'm basically taking you with me because you're half-hearted. So essentially, I guess Jeremy is basically building a kingdom to where everybody's like half. So basically, if you're half-hearted or half-species, so most likely he's probably going to be recruiting people and bringing people to his kingdom. His kingdom is basically in the sky, so essentially going to be bringing people to his kingdom. Maybe other Bugnarok, maybe people, maybe other humans, maybe other people who are half Bugnarok just like he is. So yeah, Jeremy essentially is become basically the main freaking character. It basically he inevitably has built the sixth kingdom, but it's just clouds at this point. I feel like it's been 1,000 years, so he's most likely has laid some type of foundation up there. So I'm kind of wondering what this sixth kingdom is gonna look like, and how it's gonna how we're gonna like traverse onward, because in this episode he fought everyone and beat the crap out of everybody. Like for the last 2 episodes, been beating the crap out of Death Nook, so it makes sense that he was able to end up defeating them as well, fighting them as well, and overall like completely decimating all of them. But this was great though. I like the the seeds that we're planting here, the foreshadowing, and I want to know what's the history before everything happened. I'm really looking forward to hearing about that. But Jeremy is that guy. Like he's taking the mantle of like main character right now. Like Gira was the main character at first. Everything was focused on Gira, but now we're focusing mostly on Jeremy. And I'm wondering how they're going to get their swords back. Like, I'm really wondering how they're going to get their swords back, because Yama's not building 5 new swords. Like, he's not. But yeah, you guys, let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think of this episode of Ohsama Sentai King-Ohger. So you guys let me know, because I'm ready to really ready to see what happens next, especially when it comes down to Jeremy and his overall thing that he's trying to do. Maybe he's gonna be like the thing that causes the Bugnarok and the regular people to actually start doing what he wants them to do, like building some kind of trust or coming together in some type of way. We can't really do that right now because still got big boy Raculus over here trying to be the ultimate king. But you guys let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think about this episode. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and remember, as I always say, stay henshined.